Dear class 10, today we'll start a new chapter, number 7, that is chemical coordination in plants. In all the living organisms, as you all know that they have, there are many systems, there are different kinds of systems having different functions, alright, and all those systems need to be controlled and coordinated by some systems or by some substances so that they can work in a very efficient and effective way. So in case of animals, there are nervous systems and hormones, okay, mainly nervous system, okay, then hormone to coordinate and control all those systems so that the different systems in the animal's body can perform in a very efficient way or in very effective way, okay. But then in case of plant's body, there is no nervous system, no sense organs, so that there is a chemical substance called hormones, which control and coordinate all the systems in the bodies, okay. So how do those chemical substances, how do the hormones control and coordinate the different systems in the plant body, especially the growth, okay, the different functions, we'll do in this particular chapter. So the chemical substance that we are talking about here is the hormones. The term hormones was first coined by William Bayliss and Ernest Starling in 1902. Okay, they were the two scientists who first coined the terms hormones in the year 1902. Okay, and as you know that these hormones are found both in plants and animals. So in order to differentiate the plant hormones from the animal hormones, the plant hormones are termed as phytohormones. Okay, phytohormones. So phytohormones means plant hormones. Alright. So now, what is hormone then? What is hormone? So hormone is a chemical substance which is proteinous in nature, alright, and is produced in one of the regions of the bodies and taken away to the distant places where it shows its functions or effects. That means it shows its function away from the place of its production. Okay, it is both in plants and animals. This is the general property of the hormones, whether it is a plant hormone or animal hormone. Okay, so in this particular chapter, we'll talk about the different types of plant hormones, such as we have auxins, okay, then we have gibberellins, okay, we have cytokinins, we have ethylene, alright, and we have abscisic acid. So these are the 5 different kinds of plant hormones that we are going to talk about in this particular chapter. Alright, talk about the different types of plant hormones given in this particular chapter one by one. So first we'll talk about auxins. So these auxins, okay, auxins, the term auxins was first coined by the scientist called F. W. Went. F.W. Went in 1928. In 1928. Okay, F.W. Went was the first person to coin the term called auxin in the year 1928. Okay, so this auxin, let me tell you in the beginning itself, is a very powerful growth stimulant. It is a very powerful growth stimulant. Okay, it's very powerful growth stimulant. It's also known as a very powerful growth stimulant. All right, because it stimulates the growth in plants. It stimulates the growth in plants. So there are many types of auxins, okay, in plants, which is found in algae, fungi, and all other plants. Okay, among such many auxins, the most important one, okay, the most important auxin hormone or auxin is your IAA. Most known one is IAA. Okay, IAA. Okay, short form is IAA, which means indole 3 acetic acid. See, IAA, indole 3 acetic acid. Okay, so that is the most known or very commonly known auxin is this IAA, indole 3 acetic acid. Okay, so now we'll go to know about the place where it gets synthesized, where it is produced in the plants. Okay, that means place of synthesis, where it is produced. We'll see now place of synthesis or the sites where it is synthesized. All right, so as you know that this is mainly produced in the shoot apex. That means at the tip of the shoot. Okay, at the tip of the shoot. All right, root apex, that means at the tip of root, because this hormone is known as the growth hormone, very powerful growth hormone. All right, so at the tip of the root, at the tip of the shoot, okay, in lateral meristem, lateral meristem means, suppose okay, so meristem means the young region. Okay, so as you know that we discussed that in class 9 also about the different types of cells, mainly meristematic cells and permanent cells. So meristematic cells means the cells which are very young, having the capacity of division, where you can see the growth. Okay, so meristem means very young. So in the lateral meristem, which is going in the sideways, okay, in the lateral ways, so in those young cells also, the young cells in the lateral region, so this auxin is present. All right, and also in the young leaves, the hormone called auxin is produced. So these are the places where you see the auxins being produced. Root, shoot apex at the tip of the shoot, at the tip of the root, also in the lateral meristem, and also in the young leaves. So in all those young regions, in all the young regions where the meristematic cells are there, having the power of division, in those regions this auxin hormone is present, because this hormone is a very powerful growth stimulant which stimulates the growth. Alright, now let's talk about the functions. What are the functions of auxins? Let's talk about the functions. Number one, promote cell elongation. So there are many functions, but we'll see only those which are very important. So number one, it promotes cell elongation. This auxin, how does it initiate the growth? How does it, stimulate the growth in plants? So number one, it elongates the cell. Cell, when it has to grow up. So first of all, what happens is that, as you all know, that the cell division has to take place. So soon after the cell division, the cell is not as big as the parent cell. So it has to grow up. Okay, it has to elongate. So for the elongation of the cell, this auxin plays very important role. So first, it promotes cell elongation. Suppose this is the cell out here, the small cell, very young cell, or daughter cell. So it stimulates the elongation of the shell. Okay, it has to attain the full size, for which it has to elongate. So for elongation also, this auxin plays very important role. Number one. Okay, so number two, suppress the growth of lateral buds. Suppress the growth of lateral buds. Suppress the growth of lateral buds. Suppose this is the plant growing out here. So your lateral buds means this region. So this region, okay, this region, lateral buds. So this hormone usually stops the growth of the buds which are growing laterally this side, because it mainly focuses on the growth in the height or in the length. So this is mainly found in the shoot apex and root apex. No, it is also present in the lateral meristem. Only those in the regions where the meristematic cells are there. Okay, but in this particular case, you see lateral buds, cannot easily be growing. Why? Because there is a force coming from this auxin, which usually suppresses the growth of this lateral buds, so that it mainly focus on the growth of the height of the plant. All right, so it suppresses the growth of lateral buds. Okay, it doesn't usually allow the lateral buds to grow up. Okay, number two. And number three, delay fall of leaves. Delay fall of leaves. Okay, delay fall of leaves. That means it, influences the leaves not to fall off soon. Okay, early. There are, you must have seen the plants sometimes, losing the leaves early. But these auxins usually, stop the early shedding of the leaves. Okay, it delays. So it slows down the process of, falling of the leaves. So that's another important function of this auxin. Okay, number four, we have, induce formation of the parthenocarpic fruits. Induce formation of parthenocarpic fruits. Induce formation of parthenocarpic fruits. So parthenocarpic fruits means what? Parthenogenesis or parthenocarpy. Okay, is a process in which what happens is, the fruits are formed without the fertilization of the flowers. Usually what happens is that all we know, the fruits are developed from the flowers after the fertilization. In the usual case, the flower first has to be fertilized. That means the pollination has to take place. Then the male and female cells need to be united, which we call as the fertilization. So after the fertilization only, the possibility of the seed and the fruit is there. But in some cases, without the fertilization, the fruit is formed, like in the case of tomatoes, in the case of apples. All right, so there is a chance of the formation or the development of the fruits without the fertilization, and that process is called parthenocarpy or parthenogenesis. All right, and this parthenogenesis is highly stimulated. It's highly influenced by this auxin. That means auxin initiates or promotes the formation of parthenocarpic fruits. So that means you see that important roles this auxin plays in the plant's life. So that's the reason why it is one of the very, very important hormones and also known as the powerful growth stimulant. So especially here you see in parthenocarpic fruits, so they no need to have the fertilization there, no need to go through the process of fertilization there. So under the influence of this auxin itself, the fruits can be formed in such fruits like the apple, bananas. All right, so there you can see the very important role being played by auxin. So as I was telling you, the fruits are formed from the flowers. In fact, the part of the flowers, that is ovary. As you all know that ovary develops into the fruits, and seeds are developed from the ovules, which are discussed there in class 9 itself. Okay, so that's all about the functions of auxins. Now we'll go through the second type of hormone, that is gibberellins. All right, gibberellins. Another plant hormone now we have is gibberellins. All right, so gibberellins are of different types. There are different kinds of gibberellins there in plants, so which are known in this way: GA1, GA2, all right, and GA3, and so on. So like that, there are different kinds of gibberellins which are known in this way: GA1, GA2, GA3, and GA4, like that it goes on. Okay, so and the place of its origin, the place of synthesis, okay, or site of synthesis, the place where it is synthesized or produced. So this is also, this hormone, this gibberellin, is also produced in the meristematic regions. That means meristems of apical buds. Okay, meristems of apical buds. Okay, meristems of apical buds, root apex, buds, seeds, etc. Root apex, buds, seeds, etc. So these are the regions or the places where these gibberellins are produced. Meristems of apical buds, that means apical buds, the buds which are on the top. Okay, so there it is produced. Which portion of the buds? Meristems. Meristems, which I have told you, the young place, the place where the young cells are there. Young cells means the cells having the power of division. And also in the root apex, in the tip of the root. Okay, in the tip of the root also there. In the buds, buds means very young part of the flower. Okay, so that bud afterwards slowly develops into the flowers. All right, so that means young region. So there it is present, and even in the seeds, these gibberellins are present. Okay, so this is the place where, or these are the places where gibberellins are produced. Now let us directly go to the functions. It helps in stem elongation. Okay, help in stem elongation. So this is also a type of growth hormone. That means it's also a growth hormone which initiates the growth. So how it initiates the growth? By elongating the stem. Suppose this is the plant. Okay, leaves out here, the different portions out here. So this is the stem. So elongation of the stem is initiated or influenced by this hormone. That means the elongation of the stem is initiated under the influence of this hormone called gibberellins. Alright, number 2, breaks dormancy. Okay, breaks dormancy of seeds and buds. Breaks dormancy of seeds and buds. So it also breaks dormancy of seeds and buds. Dormancy means what? It's very clear to us because we discussed about this dormancy in class 9 itself. So dormancy is a period of the seeds when it is inactive. The embryo inside is inactive. Okay, it doesn't show the growth. It is very inactive there. Alright, so this period is called dormancy. Even sometimes the bud doesn't grow. Alright, because that time the birds are dormant. That time they are inactive. So this hormone, or under the influence of these gibberellins, what happens is that the seeds become active, and also the birds become active and they start going. They start growing. They start participating in the active activities now. What they further supposed to do. So they will go into it. They will start taking part in those active activities under the influence of these gibberellins. Okay. Then number 3, delay senescence. Delay senescence. S-E-N-E-S-C-N-C, senescence. Delay senescence. Senescence means what? That means growing older. Okay, growing old. So these gibberellins make the plants young. Okay, so it will it stops aging. In fact, if the plants grow old fast, then they will die very soon. But it doesn't happen so under the influence of gibberellins. Okay, it stops aging of the plants. It stops early aging of the plants. That's very important function of gibberellins. And number 4, we have induce parthenocarpy. That means the gibberellins also induce parthenocarpy. That parthenocarpy we discussed just in the case of auxins there, which means the formation of the fruits without the fertilization. That means the fertilization, as we have discussed there, first need to be taken place there in the flowers. That means union of male and female gametes there in the ovary usually takes place soon after the pollination. But here in some fruits or in some plants, that fertilization is not needed. So from the flower itself the fruits are formed, like in the case of this bananas, apple, in tomatoes. So there that parthenocarpy is seen. So that parthenocarpy is also influenced or that parthenocarpy takes place under the influence of this gibberellins also. Not only under the influence of auxins, but also the gibberellins play its very crucial role in promoting the parthenocarpy in the plants, like bananas, apple, tomatoes, etc. Okay, so today we'll do only these two different kinds of plant hormones, that is auxins and gibberellins, and other three different kinds of plant hormones we'll discuss. We'll discuss those hormones in the next session. All right, thank you.